Today I'd like to cover the 5 ways you can add CSS to your HTML. I've written a blog post about this, but I also like to talk about it in a video. So in Visual Studio Code, I've created a project. I've created an index.html file. I've added a paragraph element to the page with some boilerplate. And if we view this in the browser, you're going to see that paragraph show up. That paragraph doesn't have any styles, but I'd like to add some now. And so the first way you can add styles is with inline style. And an inline style is going to be with the style attribute, like so. And we can specify, let's say we want to make this paragraph red. And you'll see that inline style applies to that paragraph directly. This is only going to apply to that paragraph that we've made. It's not going to apply to any other paragraphs on the page. And it's generally used, I would say, maybe for some testing, a quick style you want to add, but ideally you're going to want to move that to an external style sheet, which we'll get to shortly. The second way you can style is with an internal style sheet. And so if we switch this paragraph back to the state that it was, to add an internal style sheet, all you got to do is add style tags within the head of your HTML. And so we can do that like so. And we can target the paragraphs on the page with the P and then specify that we want the color to be red. And if we go back, you'll see that the color is still red here. And so that is an internal style sheet. That's going to apply to the entire document, or just this one page of HTML. It doesn't have as much of a benefit as external style sheets because external style sheets can apply across your whole website. It can be used for multiple pages. And so that's one benefit over an internal style sheet. It also cleans up your code a bit by not keeping your CSS with your HTML. So I'd like to get to that one next. We can remove this. You'll see that the color has now gone back to black. Now to add an external style sheet to your project, you're going to go to the left sidebar, add a new file. We can call it styles.css. From here, we can target the paragraphs, give it a color. And as a final step, we want to make this known to our HTML document. And to do that, you want to use the link element. And we can say styles.css. We can say the relationship to this HTML document is going to be a style sheet. Okay. And then you'll see in the browser that it is now red again. So an external style sheet is helpful because you can use it for multiple pages and it separates your code. So that's a benefit. To expand upon this, as you start to add more CSS, your project starts to get bigger and bigger. You might want to add modularity to your code. And to do that, you're going to use the import, @import. And this is going to add that modularity. So if we actually remove this, essentially what you're going to want to do to use @import is to create another file. Let's call it import.css. And we can bring our code over here. Like so. And to reference it, essentially an import, how it works is you have one main CSS file and you're linking other CSS files to the main one to add that modularity, to break up all of that expansive code you might have, or that expansive rule sets you might have in your document. So we can reference it. Here, you're going to do @import, quotes, import.css. I've just named it import CSS for the tutorial. You don't have to name it that. Like so. Put the semicolon. And then if you go ahead and come back, you'll see that the color is now red again. If we wanted to add some more styles to our document, you can target that paragraph again in the main CSS file or in the import, however you'd like. Let's say we want to add an underline. So we can go ahead and do that here. So now you have, this is a paragraph, it's red and also underlined. And those are in 2 separate files. The first one that's being run is import.css, followed by the code or the rule sets that are in styles.css. So that's the 4th way to expand upon CSS or add CSS to HTML. And then the final way is going to be with JavaScript. So let me go ahead and just remove all this work I've just done now. Just to go get a clean slate here. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so we're back to square one. We have this as the paragraph, no color. Now to add styles with JavaScript, you're going to add the script tags to your body as one method of adding JavaScript. And we can target the paragraph with document.body, children. Let's get the first element. We want to style it. We want to change the color. And then we want to make it red. And so if we go back to the document in the browser, you'll see that the color has changed to red. So what's different here is this is dynamic CSS. So the page is already loaded, the paragraph element has loaded, and then the script runs afterwards, changing the color to red. So this is going to be useful if you want to add some interactivity to your website. That is the fifth way to add CSS.